Hi, my name's Lee. I'm part of the team that brings you Company Controls. Today we're going to have a little bit more of a detailed look at what the software provides. The modules that the system has is areas such as recording personnel information. We call it HR Lite in Company Controls. That includes recording things like work information, home addresses, next of kin, medical information, bank details, salary information, and work documents. It's also a document management system, so you can add documents either to all staff, such as company handbook, memos, newsletters, insurance documents, that kind of thing, or you can add documents to a particular individual, such as their passport, driving license, their contract of employment, letters of engagement, disciplinary information, correspondence, that kind of stuff. We also have a leave management system, so people can request leave, approve leave, managers can approve that leave, and the leave can then be counted against their entitlement for that particular year. We also can record sickness in EW Assist, so that's the whole process from reporting in sick, or reporting an employee as sick, I should say, keeping that record up to date over the period of the person's sickness, and then return to the work with relevant sick notes, doctor's notes, self-certs, and return to work interviews as well, all of which can be recorded on the system, and documents can be uploaded to support those records as well. Then we have an injury reporting system, so you can record and report all the injuries that you have in the business. This could be anything from a slip on the floor, or sort of building accident, where something more serious might happen, and perhaps more than one person might be injured in the event. And it doesn't have to be people within the business. It could be subcontractors and the general public that might have been hurt as well. So it's quite a thorough approach to recording sickness, and it also follows the relevant RIDDOR legislation. Then we have equality and diversity module. That's really designed to record very, very personal information that's very private to the employee, and then is reported on a sort of company generic level. You can adjust the questions that are asked, the format of the answers. You can add your own questions if you want to, and then that's reported on at a very high level, company level. Nothing specific to any particular individual. Then we've got a training management system, and this records the training that you provide within the business. Record the training that each individual has, the length of time that the training is relevant, when things are going to expire or have expired. You can also put a matrix together for the training that a particular employee might need. So as they move through the business, the system will automatically suggest or tell you at least where the gaps are, and where people need specific bits of training. We also have a performance management system. This is really just effectively a form building system that you can create your own performance review on the system. You can build that form from scratch. We can help you with that if necessary, and that will allow you to then issue those performance reviews, those questionnaires, to your staff to be completed on a sort of a period that suits you, maybe every couple of weeks, or every 6 months, or once a year, whatever you need, whatever you do at the moment. And you can have multiple types of forms. So you might have a new starter form, you might have a end of probation form, you might have a yearly, annual form, sort of typical kind of performance review form. You could also have an exit questionnaire that allows you to issue a questionnaire to an employee when they're leaving the business, to find out exactly why they might be leaving, whether they would recommend you in the future as an employer. So then we have a time and attendance module. And don't forget, all of this is built into the company control system. This is all available from one login through one front end. It's not multiple front ends. It's not. It's all part of the same, weaved through the same sort of menu system. So the time and attendance module, because we know through the work patterns of an employee when they're expected to work, we can then capture the actual time that they arrive into work and when they leave, either at lunchtime or in the evening, whenever that might well be the case. If they're night workers, they might come in the evening and leave in the morning. But whenever that might be the case, we can then capture that information through the website, so they can punch in, punch out through logging into EWSys and punching in through the web system. We also have various types of wall-mounted sort of remote hardware that you can install quite easily at the front on your front door, at the doors of the entrance and exits of your workplace. And people can clock in and out as they come and go from the business without having to log in through the system. But all the information is relayed back to our servers and then presented on the company control site for your information. So you can immediately see at let's say 9:10 exactly who's in the business, who's in the office, and who's not. People can also clock in, can notify their whereabouts. So perhaps next Wednesday they might be at a conference, and they can log that information, and then that information is available on the time and attendance reports. So we also have an expense module, and this really allows you to record your expenses for an employee to record their expenses, perhaps on a monthly basis, on an ongoing basis throughout the whole month. They can sort of collate their expenses as they go along, and then at the end of the month, at a time that suits you, they can then issue those that particular expense claim with all the expenses that might have fallen within that particular period of time to their manager for approval, or to an expense specific approver that you nominate. That then can then be approved or rejected, and perhaps returned back to the employee for more information, perhaps invoices and receipts and so on, or just to remove information or to add more information if necessary, whatever the case may be. So there's full control, and then once the approver then agrees to that particular expense claim, it can then be sent to payroll for processing, and there's full control on the creation of batch payments for the expenses, and obviously reporting and categorizing of expenses and so on within company controls. Then we have the task management system, which we call the to-do system in company controls. The task management system is a corporate task management system that allows individuals to raise tasks within for themselves, or potentially for another employee, or for a department within the organisation. Once you're issued a task from someone else, you have to then accept it, or you can reject it to return it back to the originator. And then once that task is complete, it can then be returned to the originator if the originator requests it, to notify them of that particular task is potentially finished, and then the originator can then sign off on that task being completed to their satisfaction. It might be used perhaps to trigger the next task that's needed, that can only be done after the first task is done. So we also have a directory within EWSys. The directory area includes much more than just a list of contact details for your staff. It also includes a company address book, and a way of new staff finding specific individuals within the business. So you can find, so for example, you might see an org chart, or you might find people based on their company role, which might be who's the health and safety officer in the business, who's the first aider, who's the Christmas do organizer, who's the lottery manager. who are these people within the organisation, and the system will allow them to find that information out. So these are the modules that we currently have available within Company Controls. More modules are always in development, and with plans to add more modules in the future. Some of the sort of examples of modules that will be coming in the near future include timesheets, really to support perhaps to sort of bolster the time and attendance module that we already have in place, but to allow people to record time simply for the one day, or possibly to break that time up against projects and company and clients, for example. Then we have we're looking at disciplinary and grievance, recording the information for that kind of process, and asset management as well. So for all these areas, they're built from scratch, really from the ground up, to support that particular area. You can imagine with discipline and grievance, there's an awful lot more to consider because of the security that's involved in that particular type of record keeping. So we rather than follow a sort of a similar vein through each module, we start the development for each module with a blank page, and we develop that module to suit the needs of that particular module. So that's Company Controls in much more detail, hopefully. Thanks very much for watching this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and click the alert button to keep informed in the future. Thanks very much. Thank you.